live stream, and this one is going to be one of the most important live streams I'm gonna make. And just to let everyone know, this is a this is like a simultaneous cast basically, where I'm basically streaming on two. I'm streaming on two sources as of right now. Currently, the live stream is available both on Facebook, but we're also live streaming on YouTube right now. Now I'm thinking about making the Real Talk podcast something as a like as something as a new series basically. But there's a reason why I'm making this live stream right here right now. It's because there's a lot of important things that we need to discuss, because there's a lot of things that's going on in my life that is really holding me back from doing my usual routine, which is making videos. Because as you can see, uh, I haven't I haven't posted anything in 2 weeks, and usually I would usually post one video per week, or at least maybe one or two usually. And I'm still thinking about doing that, but like I said, there are other things that are going on in my life that I'm going to be explaining right now, which is part of the reason how come I haven't interacted with everybody in a while, and why I've been so inactive for a long time. And it, it's harsh. It's hard. It's tough to discuss, really. But I'm just gonna get down. I'm just gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to yeah, just give me 1 sec, guys, cause I'm just trying to see something here. But yeah, I'm going to be explaining like what's going on in my personal life and all that. I'm not gonna go too much into detail. Uh, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into detail. I'm just only gonna give you guys just a short explanation on what's going on, and it's largely in part due to the scariest thing that can happen to anybody, and the that is depression. The inner demons coming to get you. Now, this is something that's been bothering me for a long time. It's been bugging me for a long fucking time, and only now is it really overcoming me. And in recent weeks, I have been at my lowest point ever. Like, I've lost all motivation. I didn't lose all motivation, but I lost some motivation to continue doing videos and all that. And to top it all off, I also had some major family issues that happened very recently, which, for the sake of this live stream, I'm not going to disclose all of that, largely because it's very private information. And out of respect for my family, I'd rather not discuss anything about what's going on with my family and all that. Let's just say that while my family is doing okay right now, me personally, I'm not. And because of this, I've had a lot of stuff happen. I had a lot of stuff happen to me recently, and I'm gonna discuss. I'm gonna dissect them into parts. Okay, I'm gonna dissect them into parts and try to discuss them broadly. Now, if everyone could just give me a hot flipping second, because I'm just trying to make yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that everything is running just fine. Cause and it's funny too, because it's real funny too. Cause I just had this, running. So hold on a second. Because I was just like, I just have my. Hang on a second. I'm trying to reconnect my live stream onto my Facebook so I can publish it. because obviously I did something wrong. And okay, it came up. Okay, it came up. All right. So we already got that going. So now I'm just gonna yeah, I'm just gonna hit the go live thing. Here we go. All right, that's cool. All right, that's real. That's that's real nice actually. I finally got my stream to show up on the I finally got my live stream to show up on my Facebook, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm simulcasting this on both YouTube and Facebook. So now everything can finally run just fine. But like I said, I'm going to dissect this live stream into separate parts as far as like what is going on in my life and why I've been losing some motivation to keep going. So the first thing is, yes, I just had a major crisis. Yes, I have experienced a major crisis as of recently. Now, if you don't know what that means, when you're dealing with a crisis, particularly if you're a depressed person, it usually means you're going through a very rough period, but it goes deeper than that. It basically what it means is that you're going through a tough time where you're literally hurting yourself. You know what I mean? Like recently I have been having not only have I have been having you know contemplating suicide, but like again as usual. But you see, here's the thing though. I don't think I'm gonna kill myself anytime soon. And there's a good reason why for that. Because I made a promise to my brother that I would not do that as long as I go get help. The help that I need. So I want to make sure that I don't hurt my brother, emotionally. That goes for the rest of my family too. I don't want to hurt them emotionally, because then that'll be because then it would mean what would they do? Like what exactly would they do if I was to die right here or right now? They probably would not have any other light to function with. So I'm thinking to myself, like, should I just continue to bear the suffering? Like, should I continue to suffer? And it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. I I understand that they don't want me to go and all that, but it's at the same time I'm going through such a goddamn rough period right now, and it's just not very good for me. It just isn't. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it's not good for me right now. But yeah, I have actually I'm not even kidding you when I say this, but I've actually done some very awful things to my arms and all that. In fact, there is uh there is actually an image that is on my Snapchat actually that I just put onto my story, which I'm not sure if people do follow me there, but I actually have injured myself.
So what?
But it wasn't like I did it on purpose though, because it was technically for a good reason. And before I keep going, let me welcome Max Andrew in the live stream. How you doing?
Hello. I was just wondering what you were talking about today.
Well, what I'm talking about is why I have been so inactive, not only just on Discord, but also on YouTube as well, because usually I post videos like either once or twice a week, but there's been a lot of things going on in my life that's been holding me back. The only reason I wanted you guys to join personally is because I want y'all to be around to hear this when uh when I explain it to you.
Okay.
So give me a second. I'm trying to get Levon to be in here. He should be in here right now. Hello, hey Levon, how you doing?
Very good. Very good.
I'm so glad you made it too, because right now we're on this podcast, right? Yeah, we're on this podcast right now, right? And I'm trying to explain exactly what's going on because things are going rough, and I want you guys to be around for when I explain why I've been inactive on, but not only on Discord and on social media as well, but and also why all these negative posts that people are most likely reading about me and all that, and then just giving off the bad impression that I'm a, horrible person, that I'm just like I'm freaking crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So I want you to be around when I say all of this and begin to explain myself as far as my motives for not only posting this stuff but also doing some very very physical things to myself. So here we go. So I already do have some people on Facebook that are also in the live stream as well. Guys like Sean, Brandon, and my friend Don are also in there. My brother-in-law. So I'm gonna be explaining why these negative posts keeps coming up, and as I said before, as I said before at the start, I've been experiencing a major, major crisis in my life. Not only have I been at my lowest period, but I actually ended up harming myself. I'm like I
Uh,
didn't. It's on my snap. It's on my Snapchat story. Like I'm like nobody is gonna be able to see it, but I actually have bandages wrapped around both my arms. If I'm not sure exactly how I can show it, but hang on.
how we? Isn't this a isn't this a podcast?
Yeah, this is yeah, exactly. I'm basically explaining all of the important stuff as far as the status of what's going on in my life, and also what the future is going to be for not only the channel, but also for the third Reptile movie as well. But first, I need to get the bad stuff out of the way. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, first and foremost, if anyone out there thinks that I'm going mentally crazy, that's not the case at all. Really, really, it's the fact that I'm going through stuff. You see, because when you're saying that people like me, who goes through I've been dealing with this for 4 years. So when you say that people like me is going crazy just because we're going through a phase, that's kind of wrong for you to say, because by saying that, it's almost like saying that anyone else who has depression are also fucking crazy. But that's not the case. It just means that they're going through a major major phase that they need to learn how to control. I'm unfortunately one of those people who don't know how to control it because I haven't even received the help that I needed yet. But today that's going to be changing because I'm having a doctor on demand that I'm going to be speaking to in the coming. Like I said, it's going to be starting today, and I'm going to be. And it's most likely, and I'm not sure how many sessions I'm gonna have. It could be like twice a week or once a week. I don't care, but as long as it just happens at least one time, then
Right.
that should be enough for me. And and there was another one that I wanted to just there was another one that I wanted to discuss. But first and foremost, I just also want to let everyone know that I'm still alive and all that, because there were friends who actually thought I was gone, and that I ended up killing myself because I didn't respond to any of their text on my phone and whatnot. But I'm here to let them know that I'm fine, and I'm still
LeBron
alive and I'm breathing.
did a live stream on that previously.
Yes.
What?
Yes. It was. It was actually a different. It was a different live stream.
What
And
live
stuff.
stream was it?
Oh, it's about. Okay. Remember that false Russian trailer that I showed you for Reptile versus Arthritis and stuff?
Yeah, what about it?
Well.
Not that live stream.
Oh,
The
not
live
that live one. Not that
no,
one. No.
your live stream. I'm not talking about the live stream.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Ignore my question. About the live stream that I did for when
Oh yeah, and by
Larry
the
was
way,
in
Sean,
suicidal mode.
By the way,
Yeah.
Sean, if you do want to join the live stream, you can, because I did say in the private chat that anyone who's available, I need them to come in because I want y'all to hear this. But if you don't want to come in, you could just stay wherever you want. So I'm just letting you know right now. You can enter if you want, but I just need you to be on topic with what we're discussing. So yeah, throwing that out there. Uh, but there was one other thing that I said because I made a post. Levon knows about it, where I was pointing out 12 things that was going on in my life, and I was asking why does it all have to happen to me. The second one was every time I want to hang with family or friends, they're never there. Now, let me sum up exactly what this means is not in the sense that not necessarily in the sense that they're not there like to care for me like like on an emotional standpoint, but more so on the fact that they're not there physically. And this might be me being a little bit condescending and naive and all this stuff, but please or being ignorant, but correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But what I mean by this, sorry if my mic is too close, I'm sorry, but what I mean by this is that when I need somebody to hang with, like physically, when I'm going through a period and all that, it I don't know if it's because it's brutal bad timing, or it's because or is there something personal and whatnot. But it seems like every time I always ask to hang with somebody, it's like they're never available. Like I said, I don't know if this is bad timing or if
Very.
this is something personal and whatnot. Like I always keep reiterating to myself that people have things to do and all that. But I think what bothers me is that this happens like almost damn near all the time, and then it's just like, well, who the fuck am I supposed to hang with? And then I kind of, and then I'm forced to be alone. You know what I mean? So so yeah, that's my only explanation for why I said that. Not like I said, it's not even the fact that they're not there when I need them like to support me emotionally and all that. Just more like a physical kind, like a physicality kind of thing. Like when I need to go out, like say I want to go out to a movie or something, or there's a place up in my Chinatown in Philadelphia's Chinatown that I do like going up to. That's like a gaming center and all that whenever I need to chill out and all that. Like if I need someone to go up there with me and all that stuff, they're never there. So that's why that's why I said that. And keep in mind that I was very emotional when I wrote this stuff. So half the things I most likely said in here probably wasn't even true. But I often say things out of my ass without even thinking it through.
Larry,
Right.
Oh, and hi Sean, how you doing?
hopefully everything works out for the winter and I can make my trip and maybe we can hang out.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. You did tell me that you was gonna try to make that happen, right?
I'm going to try my best. If just know that if I can make it work, I will make it work and we will hang out.
Okay, well that well I
Think
hope so, cuz I'm looking to the
if
future.
if we could like go somewhere and like maybe I can get you some dinner or something.
Oh, you don't have to you don't have to pay for me. I'll be
Well,
fine.
I mean,
And like I said, there's a place up in Chinatown that I always go up to, and we could go up there.
that'd be dope.
Why is it called Chinatown?
Well, I mean, every place has a Chinatown, but our Chinatown specifically, up, because that's right. Max lives in the UK, so I don't think he knows what that is. So in America, there's a lot of the biggest cities has like a little Chinatown has like a little Chinatown section in
Basic,
there
basically,
where
what that. Can I also help explain it? Because I've been to Chinatown too. If that's okay.
yeah, exactly. Almost every big town has like a Chinatown in it where like, a lot of the Chinese people have like all their cultures and foods and all that stuff. So it's almost like a way of bringing it a little bit from China over to America, and most big cities have that. So, but I'm not sure
Is
what
it
it's like in the
the
UK.
cultural appropriation or something?
No, it's not. Most of it's a heavy population of Chinese people typically in an area.
That's basically what it
That's
is.
right.
Chinese markets
I'm
and stuff.
joking. I'm joking. I'm just using SJW logic.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
completely missed.
Okay, but
Larry, I think it's mostly a northern thing because I don't think we have like little Chinas in the south.
yeah,
I mean,
no, you're right. You're right.
And can I just say something, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like nearly 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. in my country, so I might have to just pop out.
If you need to, you can.
Yeah, I have to. I'll have to go to bed soon.
Because like I'm sure you probably because I keep forgetting your country's a day ahead of us, so almost a day ahead of us. So I'm pretty sure you do have
Yeah.
school that you have to take
just
care
say
of.
Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, I
Now,
go to college at the
well,
same school.
well, I hope so. Now,
I do.
what was my next point?
See you
Yeah,
guys.
take care,
Later.
Max. Now
Take
the
care.
third one is actually the third and fourth one. I have no one to cuddle with, and I get kicked out of groups. Okay, for the third one, having no one to cuddle with. What do I mean by no one to cuddle with? Now this sounds like now this is something I normally would not say because I personally really don't care. But you know, since I did make it, I have to explain myself. So I'm a very envious person. I've been known to get jealous of people rather fast. This is something that a lot of people do not know because I don't show it. I don't really show it most of the time. The only reason I showed it here is because again I was in the heat of the moment, so I wasn't really thinking it through when I wrote it. So what I meant is that there's a cuddle buddy, and then there's friends with benefits and all that. I have a couple of friends who have that who have that lifestyle where they have someone to cuddle with and have friends with benefits, but they don't necessarily have romantic feelings for one another, and that's perfectly fine. That's normal because that's just how that's how society is. It's fine to it's fine to cuddle with somebody and you don't have to feel anything for them romantically because you got to realize that that's a very strong feeling. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
and yeah. So that's what I meant. But like I said, I have friends who do that, but I don't live that particular. But I don't live that lifestyle. So you know what I mean. So that's what I meant. Now, getting kicked out of groups and all that stuff. This is something that has happened to me almost my entire life. I have always been, not only have I always been ostracized for no particular reason at all, but because of who I am. You see, you guys already know I'm a heavily goofy person. You know, I'm a nerd I'm a nerd when it comes to film. I'm a nerd when it comes to gaming. I'm a nerd when it comes to basically basically all that stuff like comics and shit like
Larry,
that. Like
Can I
Yeah.
say something?
yeah. Go ahead.
All of those things are what make you a badass, man.
Thank you. Some people unfortunately just don't understand that because they don't have the same mindset as I do. You know what I
Can I
mean?
tell you what?
S-
Can I
And
tell you what I think?
a lot of these exiles have been happening since I used to go to Dancedelphia, a place that I always talked about on my channel. Not always talked about, but always talked about from time to time when it was necessary. But I mostly posted stuff about it on my Facebook and on my Instagram. Even some of the folks that I've been there with are also in my photos too. So when I was there, even though the dancing aspect was like the best part of my life because I got to learn like a different form of art, it was at the same time it was so stressful because not only did you see the reason how come most people liked my brother is because he has a mindset that resonates with them more. But when I was there, it was hard for me to fit in, mostly because they don't have the same mindset as me, and every time I acted as myself, they perceived it as me being a very immature person. They would often say that my brother's a more mature one simply because he doesn't act goofy like I do. But again, it's my personality, and it has nothing to do with me being mentally sick. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am mentally sick, but not to an extent where I'm gonna like lash out on people, commit violence or some shit like that. Only only in the sense that I just feel so low, only in the sense that I just feel sad and angry all the time for no particular reason.
Larry, can I say something?
Yeah.
I actually can really relate to how you're feeling. You know, I've been like separated and removed from groups before too.
I know how that
Yeah.
I know how that feels because then it makes you feel so left, it makes you feel so left out of everything, so I'm pretty sure
and
you do know.
I'm
And
sadly kind of inadequate sometimes.
in fact, Sean Levon, I need to tell you both something. You because because like I said, I say these things in these posts and all that stuff, and it most likely hurts your both of your feelings and all that stuff. So I need to make it very clear that that I still have love for the both of you, but it's just hard for me to be around you two when I'm going through something, and I don't want both of y'all getting involved in what's going on because then it's like I want to be around y'all when I'm in a happy mood and all that, so we can all have a great time and all that stuff. When I know I'm going through a crisis, that's when I have to isolate myself because
Yeah.
I do not want to drag anyone down with me. You know what I mean?
I get it, Larry. I understand. It's never easy dealing with depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but keep in mind that I still have love for the both of y'all, and the relationship that I formed with both of y'all, it's tight. There's nothing that the bond that I share with the both of y'all is never going to be broken, and you have my word on that.
Dude, me and Levon love you too,
Same
man.
here.
Like, you know, like after all the years that I've known you, like, you know, our friendship is too strong.
Same here. All right, Demetrius Scott is asking what's going on. Oh, he's like, so I'm literally explaining about I'm explaining about my current crisis situation, and I'm also going, and sooner or later I'm going to be talking about what's going to be happening with the future of the channel too. So,
Which I'm
if
excited
that
for.
answers your question, so and as far as my bond with Levon, yeah, no, that kind of rhymed a little bit, but the bond that I share with him mostly stems from our passion for film and all that, and he played a major role in helping me finish Reptile v Croger when I did that, and
Yeah.
he's also planned to be come returning for Reptile 3 obviously, but it's all because of that, which is why our friendship is so strong. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
And then and then Larry found this dork on YouTube, and he was like, "This guy looks cool." And then me and him became friends.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I can't believe it because like I was only like 13 or 14 when I met Sean, and now look at me, I'm 20 years old now.
Dude, you're 20?
Yep.
Yes, he's 20
Yes.
years old,
My
and
God, dude, I can't believe it.
I'm gonna be turning 21 next year.
Look, look at this, everyone. Look at this beautiful motherfucker out here. It's crazy. I remember, I remember when I first met him, and now he's so grown up. I'm so proud.
Don't thanks, dude. Don't make me blush, guys. Come on. Now, when I said this was my next one, no one can relate. No one can relate to my mental health. Now, again, this sounds very broad, and it almost sounds like I'm targeting everyone when I say this. When I say that absolutely no one. Now, let me explain exactly what this means to sum it up, especially since my mindset is doing just a little better now than it was when I was writing this. But when I said that no one could relate to my mental health, this only applied to only the vast majority who were guilty of it. You know what I mean? So when I say when I say that, my mental health is unrelatable, what it means is that only a certain audience who goes through what I go through can only relate to it, which is kind of unfair because you don't necessarily have to have the same struggles in order to be empathic with that person. You can literally feel exactly what they're going through if you do have empathy. And I'm a very empathic person. Like when I see somebody is going through something and they're not feeling well, I'm always putting their emotions first before I put my own. Because I
And
like to make sure that they're okay, and then I go worry about myself later, because my mindset is if I'm doing fine right now at the moment, then I shouldn't have to worry about myself. But if I see
Yeah.
that someone else is going through something, that's when I have to jump right into action and help them, especially if it's a family member or a friend. That's when I have to like jump right in and try to make them feel better, even if I
may I
fail at it.
may I throw in my 2 cents into the conversation? It's okay.
Yes.
Onto the subject. Uh, like, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, like how you feel right now,
Mhm.
because like as you know, I've been there. When I first moved to Florida, uh, there wasn't like a day where I didn't want to think about committing suicide. You know
You
what I mean?
actually had that thought before?
When I've had that I had that feeling for like 3 years.
3 years? How come
Yeah,
you never talked to me about it?
it comes down to the point where sometimes when you tell some people some things, it pushes them away. You know what I
Oh,
mean? I was scared.
oh yeah, I get that. That's how I felt every time. That's how I felt when I went missing last month. Well, wait, it's November now, right? Yeah, it was almost 2 months ago, back in September when I disappeared. So
You know, now
Yes.
I'm, I've made friends and people who can relate to me. You know what I mean? You have those things. You know what I mean? It,
yeah, I
like you said, you have me and Levon, but the sad thing is that we're not close to you where we can actually hang out with you. You know what I mean?
but it's okay, because in recent times at my college, I actually have a whole group of friends who I think are probably like the best people I've ever met, because for once I feel like I can find, not only can I relate to them because they are all wacky nerds like I am, but also they're able to relate to me. Like just last week, they were having a chat with me about what I was going through, and I told them that I was planning to make some very controversial decisions, and I'm going to flat out admit it publicly. But one of my plans that I was going to do, it didn't involve death, so that's completely out of the question right now. We're already past that. But one of my plans was to get an escort. Now you might be wondering, well, Larry, what the fuck is an escort? Well, what I mean is that if you're 18 and over, then you should definitely know what an escort is. But for those who don't, because there are some people who are older who still don't know what it is, basically you, basically it's when you're paying for sex. That's basically what you're doing. They usually
Yeah,
charge rates that are like hundreds of dollars and all that. So
yeah.
that's
So
literally
like
what you're doing.
prostitution.
I wasn't I wasn't aware that it was like really that bad. I'm sorry, man,
No,
that it
it's
wasn't
fine.
around.
I was only explaining it just to those who don't know. But yeah, that's what that is. And I was planning to do that, but my friends were widely against doing that because they were trying to assure me that, you would definitely want you want your first sex moment to be special. And yes, I'm going to publicly throw that out there. I am still a virgin, 20 years old, still a virgin. So yes, I'm going to have to throw that out there. After all, if I had to discuss this story, that would require me to flat out admit that I've never had sex before. So I'm throwing that out there right here, right now.
That's literally nothing to be ashamed of.
Well,
Yeah,
to be
Okay,
fair, and you're right, there really isn't. But
as as you know, I haven't had sex yet, and I'm saving myself for marriage.
oh man, okay. But yeah, like I
What?
was,
That?
but there's a reason how come I was feeling worthless, because I felt like I felt like if I got to mingle with somebody, then maybe that would make me feel better and all that stuff. But they were literally trying to tell me, oh no, don't do it, because you would definitely want your first time, to be special and all that. So, so in the end, I just tapped out. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, what the hell am I gonna do now? It's like if I had a cuddle buddy at the very least, that would somewhat make me feel better. And even then, I'm still afraid to even ask for one, because it's like it's not even that easy. But I'm not, I'm not gonna pester anyone to do that. But
Like,
back to my point though about my friends and all that. It's like even though you guys aren't in close proximity of me, like I said, my friends there, I'm a member of a club there. I'm not only a club member, but I'm also an officer too. I go
Nice.
there every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every time. Even when yes, and Fridays I usually work overnight, but I still show up there. And we usually just chill out. We're usually playing video games. We're playing board games. Usually my other friends are playing, Dungeons and Dragons, and then I'm mostly playing Tekken 7 with my friend with my friend Kevin. He's a very awesome player. He's actually the second best player I've ever played against. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, it's not like my life is in complete shambles. That's like the only good thing that's going on in my life right now. The fact that I'm going to that club and we're all having a great time and all that stuff. They're able to relate to what I'm going through, and most importantly, I'm finally able to act as myself rather than being in an environment where I'm not accepted, pretending to be someone I'm not. It's like okay, I know you guys aren't wrestling fans, but I'm gonna make a very easy comparison for those who are wrestling fans. It's like I'll give you a good example. John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, when he was in WWE, when the writers kept giving you know kept giving him stuff that he was supposed to say that really wouldn't elevate his character, because the thing of it is that John Moxley knows his character more than any other writer, but instead these writers will often give him some very crappy stuff for him to go out in front of thousands of millions of people and then say these awful lines. Whereas in AEW, All Elite Wrestling, he's able to act as himself without his script and all that and be himself without pretending to be someone that he's not. That's basically the comparison I'm making here, is that I feel more free, and feel like I'm more than able to finally be the one person that I always wanted to be, and that's Larry Henson the fucking third.
Larry,
Yes.
I sent you a Skype message years and years ago saying that this exact thing would happen to you. Remember?
Yes, that is correct. He did. There were this was like 6 years ago, and I was 14 years old at the time when this happened. And I'm gonna explain it for the folks who aren't aware. There was 6 years ago, which was around the time when me and Sean were
You
like
don't have to if
starting
it
friends.
makes you comfortable.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I'm feeling okay mentally right now, so I can handle it. Uh,
I
so
just don't want you to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable.
I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if I knew for a fact that I couldn't handle it. but
I'm sorry.
but yeah, 6 years ago, we there was. I'm sorry. I'm just busy thinking right now. So yeah, 6 years ago, when me and Sean were when me and Sean were basically like the best of friends, like we got close really fast. But there was a big problem with this relationship at the time. Is that at the time I was a very, very needy guy. Now keep in mind I was 14 years old, so obviously my mindset wasn't really great. But like I said, I had been dealing with this for 6 years. Like you can clearly see how bad. Like you can clearly see how bad my mindset was even at the age of 14, because it's like if you think that me bitching and moaning about my life right now is anything new, you would be wrong, dude. I have been doing this since I was like 13. So so this ain't nothing new. It's just that I just keep doing it every time. So during this time, I was very needy. I would often call him all the time, which would bug him. This would literally like stress Sean the fuck out, and I didn't even know, because I was too selfish to even realize that he had a life outside of Skype, right? And not to mention, he also had his own issues that he had to deal with at the time. But you see, I was selfish, but I didn't know that. So Sean thought it was a great idea, which in retrospect, it actually was a great idea, that I should just go spend my life like you know outside the internet and go actually physically meet with other people who will accept you for who you are. Now keep in mind, at the time I was still surrounded in a group where I didn't feel accepted and all that, because like I was still feeling completely ostracized. So at the time, I thought that everything that Sean initially was saying was bullshit at the time, because I didn't know any better. But fast forward to 6 years later, not only have I met more people that are interested in wanting to take part in my film, like guys like Levon, for instance, I met him all because of Sean's brilliant idea to let me, to let me do my thing. But also, I've gone to college. I've been in CCP for 2 years, and I have met some amazing people there. And like I said, as of recently, it got better because again, I'm a member of a club. We all do gaming stuff together, and it's really really fun, which is why I go there all the time. Even when I know I'm going through an emotional crisis, even when I go, I'm pretty good at hiding it, and it's because of their positive influence, which is why they usually make me feel better as the day progresses and all that. But again, this in part is due to me being extremely selfish and not being aware that there's actual human beings there who give a shit about me, who will most likely be torn apart if they hear that something were to happen to me right now. Like if I were to go outside of my house right now and get shot, they would be devastated. My friends and family would not even be able to function right upon hearing something like that would happen to me.
I know. I'm sure you know that that would like shatter me if I found out that that
Oh,
happened.
I know. So
Like I don't
here's
know
a
if your
little.
cousin. Oh,
So this is a. Hang on a second. Hang on a second, because I just gotta shut my door real fast. So there's a little audio sample from that video that I was just explaining 6 years ago when Sean wanted to. He wasn't like exiling me out of my life. He was just saying It was more like a we need to take a break kind of thing. Like you just need some time to reevaluate yourself in the real world and go, you know, hang with people in your life.
you could probably read the message that I said exactly in the video.
That is, if I could even read it, because the video quality looks so friggin' bad. But here, I'm gonna do my I'm gonna do my best to read it. Okay, yeah.
So,
So yeah, and
keep in
in
mind,
this
you
call,
never.
I literally said, explain it to me now. Maybe I'll understand why, but since I don't know, I don't understand anything. This is what I said. Sean then replies back, it's an emotional thing. It has me worried a lot. Please understand the reason I did not block you is so we could speak in text, right? So I can't really. Oh man, I wish I could read this very long message that I freaking wrote, but like I said, the video
I
quality
think
looks so
I think
freaking awful.
I think I have the video on my Google Drive. If you want me to try.
Well, if you do, that'd be helpful. So
Let me,
basically, in this part, I was basically saying speaking in text is freaking boring and slow. Yeah, that's what I said. And my troubles are, I don't know what the fuck that says. And I said I always get bullied by my brother and my neighbor makes fun of me and all that stuff. Yeah, basically in this text I was basically saying about how my brother would bully me. Now keep in mind that since we were younger, obviously our relationship wasn't the best. Now, the one thing that I do need to let everyone know now, right now, as far as what's going on in my life, is that me and my brother Omar have finally gotten the brotherly relationship that I've always wanted. In fact, part of my motivation for wanting to murder myself, yeah, part of my motivation for wanting to kill myself was because,
no,
since both me and my brother always argued and bickered a lot, like not only mentally but physically, not only verbally but physically, I felt like my own brother didn't even care that he hated me, and I was just like, well, what's the point of continuing to live if my own brother hated me? So that was one of my motivations for wanting to kill myself. But upon hearing that I very nearly almost ended my life, my brother was obviously very hurt to know that, and he told me something that I didn't know that he had too. He also goes through depression too. Now, I'm gonna throw this out. The only thing you guys need to know is that depression does run in my family. It runs on my maternal side of the family. So yes, depression actually does run in my family. So if you guys are wondering, which is why both me and my brother have it. So he heard that I almost killed myself, and then he literally said to me that, like, he promised me that you won't kill yourself, and that you know We will work through this, and we're gonna get the help we need. And from that point, it was that one talk alone was able to like bring both me and my brother together, because it's like I made a promise to him that I would keep, and that I would not commit suicide. So it's like at this point, I have no intention of committing suicide
Okay,
anytime in the future.
so I can actually read it if you want me to.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So,
Yeah. So the message I sent is,
mhm.
for the time being, uh, this is for the best. You are not blocked. However, I am doing this to help you enjoy to enjoy your real life and those who are around you. I don't hate you, nor am I mad. But this happened. It was bad.
Mhm.
It might happen again. We don't need that. As you can see, I have my reasons. If you hate me for this, I understand. Also, live. There are many people you will meet who like what you're into. I know this is a problem now, but things will improve. You have to believe that.
Yep, that's exactly what it. Yep, that's exactly what it says. That's exactly what it says. So he was literally. So it wasn't like Sean was exiling me out of my life. He was just trying to get me to interact like socially, like to those who lived in my area that I knew and all that. But instead, I was just acting. I was acting very needy. I would often bother him a lot, even when he probably wanted to rest, and he probably needed to reevaluate himself, especially since he also goes. Everybody
And,
goes through something. Everyone goes
and
through
I
stuff.
was, at the time, I was also dealing with like college stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I said, I was very selfish. So I should have looked like that, but like I said, my mindset was not right. You could, if you
No,
guys were to see images of the conversation, you can clearly see how much caps and profanity that I used. I was so I was so butthurt about the whole thing, because like I said, I didn't feel accepted by those who were around me. So so it was like I wasn't in a good place at the time. And to be fair, and to be fair, I'm still not, but I'm still trying to I'm still trying to power through it. But one
the way
thing
I
is
see
certain
it,
though.
you're much better off now than you were back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do agree with that. But one thing is certain though, is that because I made a promise to my brother that I would not kill myself. It's like I have to keep it, because I'm not gonna put him through through so much pain. Because like, could you imagine what would happen right now if something were to happen to me and he found out? He probably wouldn't even be able to function. Which was something that,
Yes.
and like I said, this was something that I've always wanted in my entire life. My whole life, I just wanted to have a very positive relationship with my brother, instead of arguing and fighting over pointless bullshit. Is that was the thing? We always like fought over stupid bullshit, but now our relationship has gotten so much better, because I feel like it's because of our mental troubles, which is what's bringing us closer, is because we're working through it together and all that. And whenever we need each other, he's there. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
aspect in my life is the reason how come I'm staying alive. I'm gonna flat out admit right here, right now, that my brother's the only reason why I'm still alive. If it were not for that talk that we've had, I was as good as gone. But then
And
again, why would I still kill myself, knowing full well that my mother and my father are going to be very devastated upon finding that out? But like I said, when it comes to promises, there's a reason, because when I make a promise to somebody, I always stay very committed to it, because it's like breaking a promise is like committing a sin. Like, why would I not stay committed to something that I am a man, like that I'm a man of my word. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm a man of my word, and I never give up on promises, even if it even if it even if it may not be the most even if it may not be the smartest thing to do, or it might be the most dangerous thing to do. I'm a man who's very committed to promises. You know what I'm saying? But when I
Fair,
know but when I know that there's something I can't make a promise for, that's when I have to say I'm sorry, but I can't make any promises for that.
fair.
Yeah?
You are a genuine person, and that's a beautiful thing. And really, more people need to be like you.
No, you don't need. You don't have to remind me, dude. But I very much
No,
appreciate
but
that.
like just the amount of people that I've met who've made promises and just decided that it wasn't worth it and have hurt me because of it.
Hmm.
Like it's good to know that I have a friend who I can trust to stick around when I need them the most.
Of course, dude. Of course, dude. Like it's like I said. I always put everyone first before I put my. I always put myself first before I put. Myself. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's how I work. Could you just pardon me for 1 second?
I'm sorry.
Right.
So how have you been, Levon?
I've been doing very, very, very well and stuff.
It's good to know.
Okay,
Yeah.
but as long as you guys are fine, I'm fine too.
Like,
Yeah, I'm fine too. So
also, I'm sorry that I didn't bring up any of the shit I was going through at the time. Yeah,
no, it's perfectly fine because like you need to have a certain mindset in order to discuss how you're feeling. Just like how I am doing right now.
yeah.
Yeah, I've already discussed why I'd be rejected by society. Yeah, so. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I guess that. Yeah, I already discussed why I felt rejected by society, and that's all. And that's all because I was in a social group where I didn't feel accepted and all that. But ever since I
Yeah.
went to CCP and went to that club, I've started feeling a lot happier about my surroundings because it was like I was finally able to be myself instead of pretending to be somebody I'm not. Because I'm gonna flat out admit it right now. I don't know much about trap artists or anything like that. Like I don't know that stuff. I don't. If first of all. First of all, most trap music is crap. There's very, very few that I listen to, but I don't know much about people like Lil Baby and all that stuff. I'm aware of how popular they are, and even then it makes me question how. But I'm mostly a metal nerd. You could ask me anything about metal music, and I'm bound to answer your question. You know what
Have
I
you
mean?
ever have you ever heard of the band Hawthorne Heights?
Okay, public. Okay, now okay, I'm gonna have to admit this. I actually don't. I'm not ashamed to admit it though, but I'm just saying I listen to more
Have you
metal
ever
music
have you
than trap.
have you
So
ever heard
yes, I'm trying to flat out admit that there's a lot of this viral stuff that goes on that I don't know because I don't indulge in that stuff. You could ask me anything about video games, you could ask me stuff about movies or something like that, and I'm bound to answer your question.
what is
Now, there's
what is
now
considered
I
what is,
have my limitations. I
what
have
is
my limitations, but
no?
it's there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Have you?
this is a gaming one that I'm gonna ask.
yes,
Okay.
What RPGs are considered the two best RPGs on the Dreamcast?
on the Dreamcast. If you're talking about Dreamcast, that would be like games like Skies of Arcadia, Grandia 2.
Yep, exactly.
So, just give me
Those are
one
Um.
sec.
those are actually considered the best RPGs for the Dreamcast.
Uh, a question I'm gonna ask Larry. It's actually a band. Actually, you probably heard this one. Have you heard of a band called Red?
I've heard of them. They're a Christian band.
Yep, Christian band. What?
Now, very quickly, now with the negative stuff out the way, now I can finally discuss what's going to happen with the future of the Reptile channel. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now, that one is certain. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, very recently, my Dark Danny video have reached over 100,000 views, which I have to thank everybody for. Because
Oh,
honestly, I didn't even think that video was actually gonna. I honestly didn't even think that video was gonna do very well.
are
And
we gonna
there's
see more? That's a Mad Reptile reviews in the future?
oh, and that reminds me. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm actually working on another episode as of right now. It was originally going to. I was originally gonna have it on Halloween, but I had to postpone it because again, if nobody had watched what I was saying earlier in the podcast, then obviously you wouldn't know what I meant. But like I said, due to personal life issues, I had to postpone it. And it was
So,
crazy,
yeah,
and it was crazy too, because I was planning on having Reptile dress up as the Grim Reaper in it, but obviously now that's not gonna happen. Or I might
is
still
it,
do it. So, but
I'm excited.
but yeah, the new
Here.
episode the new episode is actually going to revisit Bubsy 3D, but there is going to be but there is going to be there's going to be a very interesting
Oh
What?
there's going to be a very but there's going to be something very interesting about the episode. He's also going to talk about the story of he's also going to talk about the story of the Bubsy character, the villains and all that, but he's also going to talk about the two earlier games, but he's most likely going to but those sections are going to be kept short because those Bubsy games really weren't that bad. In fact, they were very playable. It's the one that everyone knows about, Bubsy 3D, that people want to know about.
Larry, I'm so sorry that you're putting yourself there again.
Listen,
cannot wait.
I always put myself through mental trauma because I hate myself.
How many times have you played that? Have you gone through that game to do a review? Like, this is your third time, isn't it?
This is actually yeah, actually this is the
Yes.
third time. The only reason
Yes,
because
the-
it happened
Book
obviously
reading
it happened in the first season, and then it happened in the first Reptile movie, and now I'm about to talk about it again. And there's a reason how come I'm updating these. Don't think of it as like a reboot or anything. Think of it as more like
Revisits.
yeah, exactly, a revisit, like how I should have reviewed it initially. But because I got so much better, and plus I plan on revamping the Reptile character to like a character where he doesn't throw out, like he's still gonna throw out similar vulgarities as AVGN, but some of his vulgarities are gonna be more intelligent compared to the nerd, because the nerd just throws out vulgarities like saying that he's gonna like saying that he would like 69 a grizzly bear while shoving King Kong up his anus or something like that. So so I plan on like having Reptile say some very intelligent insults, somewhat a little bit of Shakespeare style, a little bit, just to see how it would work, just to see how it would work out. I don't know.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
One day I need to be a guest on one of your reviews, like make a guest appearance.
I also want to be a guest star as well.
No, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, Larry, are you okay? And you're like, Larry's not here.
It, like I said, it might happen. I'm open to, like I said, I'm open to this stuff, but you know, it's gonna require a lot of commitment to the project. Otherwise, nothing can get done.
I just come in and I'm like, Larry, not perfect weapon again. And you're like, I'm not reviewing that today. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You know what? It's like if you do it, Sean, if you do wind up coming to up to Philly, that's something that we should do. We should just like have a moment where you know, Reptile's playing Perfect Weapon again, and then you just come out of nowhere. We could like literally film it as like either like a dream sequence or just something to be plain funny. Like it could just be like a standard, you know, YouTube video showing Reptile.
Yeah, and you just wake up, and then the reptile just wakes up and he's like, who was that asshole?
Let's see.
And then Reptile's gonna review games that the nerd didn't review at the moment.
I just come into the room and hand him a game, and he's like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
And
Could
No,
y'all
he
pardon me
closes-
for a sec, guys?
Okay.
I'm so sorry. It's very unprofessional of me to do this, but just give me a sec.
Okay.
okay.
Wait, you guys have a knock. No, wait. Never mind.
I think Larry is doing something. Wait, Logo. What the hell did Logo Boy said in the chat? Can I join? For you, Logo Boy. No, you can't because, you know, this is a friend only join.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry, mate. I made a mistake.
Oh, that's okay.
No, I went to the. Never mind. I thought I could say it on the podcast. I went to one of the more interesting channels that we have in the official Discord for Nutravon. I'll give you a hint. It starts with N and ends with
And
W.
Nintendo 64.
No, go look at the text channels and then look for something that starts with an N and ends with a W. I made a
And
mistake.
oh, NS.
Yep, I went in there. It was horrifying.
Of course. As a matter of fact, this Discord has a lot.
Yeah.
And you know something weird about it. I I'm actually just here checking out some things a bit and see what's going on. And right now, as much as I felt sorry for Larry, which I really do.
Yeah.
I also like to announce that for those of you who are very curious about the Levon Media channel, I have released an album, and it's a stereo album.
I need to check it out then.
It's actually a My Life as a Teenage Robot fan album actually.
Nice. I like my life as a teenage robot.
There's actually a fan base Discord if you want to join.
I'll consider it, but like I don't want to join too. I'm already in too many as it is right now.
I see. Okay, it's just an offer.
Apologies, man.
I'm taking.
Also, thank you for sending me a friend request on Facebook.
Oh, that's a good question. Pet peeves on the alternative channel. That is a good question. You know, when Larry gets back, I need to remind Larry about the pet peeves thing.
Oh, someone mentioned it.
Because I really love the pet peeves video. I'm not sure if you know about this. I think you probably do. An alternative channel as of late, called which is Larry Henson Free, and basically under his personal channel, a lot of topics like the pet peeves thing.
Yeah.
Basically, in the pet peeve episode, or so in the pet peeve video, he talks about something. Talks about like stupid people out there in society, like. You know how those people at McDonald's are actually taking too long for a food to order and shit?
You do realize I work at McDonald's.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Right. Oh, that's interesting.
No, me and Larry both do. Which is funny.
Right. I know Larry do work at McDonald's, but I didn't know you work at McDonald's too much. Maybe I did forget about something.
You're good.
But anyways, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's actually the one part where the customer takes too long to order.
Oh
yeah. And Larry's like talking about it, and the way he talks about it in detail is so funny. Like he like, can I have what?
No, it's kind of
yeah.
Levon, it's kind of like that scene in The Simpsons sometimes when you just see someone when you just when they go to a steakhouse with as well as a slaughterhouse.
Right.
And you get to pick out the cow that your steak comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So Homer's like, I want that one. They shoot it, and he's like, no, the one next to it. And then they shoot it again, and he's like, I changed my mind. I want that one. He keeps killing the cows.
You know, Pender, that is a good question. What happened to the Shizzle Network Wrestling or the Shio Network Wrestling?
Can I give a possible answer?
Shit. Oh, am I on?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes my Discord seems to... But, yeah, that is a good question, Pender. you know, I also want to ask two the pet peeve thing, and then the Shield Network channel, or no, the Shield Wrestling channel. I mean,
You wonder why I think those things? Larry's been taking a break from those things. He's just focusing on himself, man. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, as much as I'm sure he would love to get back to things.
right,
Larry?
Larry, there, Larry.
Larry Bear?
I think
Say
he's
guys.
about to be
Oh,
one.
sorry guys. I'm just dealing with. I'm just doing some very serious stuff. So I again, it's very unprofessional of me to like leave.
Welcome back to the
Right,
state.
right. Larry, there's two things that the chat also asked. One of the questions is actually from 2004, and he said, will there still be any pet peeve video on your alternative channels?
Oh yeah, of course. My raw rants, my raw rants are still going to be. Yeah, it's still going to be on there. So.
Okay, so
And I do see that
asking,
Pinder. I do see
yeah,
that Pinder also as she remembers the Shizo wrestling channel. Well, as far as wrestling videos go, I'm thinking of keeping them on the Reptile channel just to keep things easier because, like, first of all, a lot of my subscribers are like wrestling fans, so I'm probably instead of putting them on a separate channel because then that would mean I would have way too many channels to worry about. I'm just gonna keep the wrestling videos on the Reptile channel, especially because I've reviewed AEW's event Double or Nothing. I've reviewed WrestleMania 35 on the channel, so it's like I might as well just keep the wrestling videos there. And plus, I have yet to still make a review of AEW Dynamite so far, which
Yeah.
is their TV show. So
Larry. Larry. Hello?
yes, Sean.
I was gonna say I have an idea for the video that we could do
Oh wait, what video?
for if I can visit you guys.
You can.
No,
It's
I
okay.
have I have an idea for the video, the reptile video.
Uh huh.
I was thinking like your your character is just playing he's just playing Bubsy 3. The reptile is just playing Bubsy 3D again, and you just get a knock at the door, and it's just me with a Santa hat on, and I hand you a gift. You snatch it out of my hand, and you just close the door. You open it, and it's like my Japanese copy of Sonic R. You're like, how the fuck am I supposed to play this? And I knock again, and you see me hand you an action replay. Larry,
Yeah, Sean. I'm so
what'd you
sorry.
think?
That's actually I think that's actually that sounds like a very interesting idea actually. What we could do is that we could try to experiment with this idea and see how it turns out.
I think it'd be funny.
I don't mind experimenting with other people's ideas to see how it turns out. If I don't like it, then I'm just gonna be straight up honest about it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm saying I'm saying this for a reason, dude.
Also, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm like 97% done with my comic.
Dude, I cannot wait.
Oh, wait.
If you're gonna sell that thing in stores, you can bet that I will be your number one customer. That's for sure.
97% done for your comic. Oh, well, that's interesting.
Well, the first volume. I'm releasing 8 volumes of the comic.
8 volumes, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Larry?
I'm just busy doing something. Was there something you had to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm excited for it to be done.
It sounded like Levon also wanted to say something.
I was just saying, Larry, just to get your attention with Sean.
Oh, well, I have ears. I was born with 2 of them, thankfully.
Yes, yes.
I didn't get it
so
bitten off by
sometimes.
Mike Tyson, so I can still hear pretty well, even though my hearing is still pretty awful.
Hashtag Savage Larry. Anyway. But yeah.
But
hopefully
about
everyone was-
Reptile 3, I very nearly forgot about to announce what's gonna happen with Reptile 3. So, uh, so about Reptile 3, that movie is currently still in the is still currently in the works.
Can I
Like
also
I've already started the script and all that, and like I said, I have a whole crew member. In fact, the same people that I just told you about earlier that I'm part of the club with are actually gonna be in the film with me.
speaking
Oh
speaking,
shit.
speaking of something, I want to make a proposition to you, Larry, right now.
Hopefully, I'm trying to get the script done by at least possibly around January or February or stuff like that, somewhere around there, because I do want to
I
start filming when it gets warm again.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Well, this is more of a proposition.
Your
Could I
proposition?
do? Yeah, could I do a small web comic? Like a, it's gonna be a one-time thing for like a
Like you want to do like a small like comic thing for Reptile or something?
yeah that takes place between the second one and the third, kind of giving people like
Ooh.
that. I don't know if you want to do that. If you don't, that's cool.
Actually, that sounds. Actually, that sounds. That's good. Actually, I like that.
We could release. We don't have, like just release it for free online or something.
Yeah, so that way it will make. I think it might leave off what the cliffhanger of the second film is gonna come in, and it's gonna answer every question. Like, okay, does the real battle actually begin with Reptile versus Crowdra in a web comic? I don't know. Something like.
That
So,
like I said, that's good.
so is Koja gonna return in the third movie? That's all I want to know.
Of course he is.
So that's when they're going to have their final. So
Well,
There's
okay,
gonna be a lot. You see, I don't want to spoil anything, but oh man, I didn't even see that. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say that that Croja's role in the film is actually going to be very interesting.
also, what about the fate of my characters though?
Your character is also still going to is also going to be part of the film, but like I said, I don't really want to give away anything, especially since we're live streaming and all that. But
you know what? I,
I don't want to
wanna
spoil
do?
anything. So
You wanna what I want to do for a trailer? Like a little promotional material, Larry.
yeah,
Like when I'm visiting, you just are in the reptile makeup, and I just walk up and I'm like, "Yo, when's the third movie coming out?"
that would be fun. That would be funny, dude. Especially since Reptile breaks the fourth wall a lot. That would actually be that would actually be really funny.
Oh yes, and oh man, I also want to ask
Wait,
if anything.
wait a second. Hang on for a second. Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry. What was your question?
Okay, so in the technical achievements in the third film itself, and I know you're still writing the script itself and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So we plan to use like a specific camera that would actually be filmable for the third movie in terms of technical achievements.
What I plan to do is that okay? So I have my DSLR, which is great for both photography and film. So what I plan to do is that I plan to buy like more camcorders, like and they're not that expensive. They're usually like about like $150-$200 or something like that. Like I plan on getting like camcorders like those so that way it could be easier for film. And also I plan on buying one of those like handles. Like don't you know some of those handles that they use in film where like when they're trying to like move the camera from one perspective to another, like I'll give you a good example. Stanley
Uh
Kubrick.
huh.
the Stanley Kubrick's cinematic style. Like his cinematography, it was very unique. I always say way ahead of his time, especially in a lot of his films from like the 50s and the 60s and all that. Like he would often have like the camera sit in one area and he would just like slowly pan over to the right, following the characters as they're walking, all that stuff, even going past walls and all that stuff. A very which is a very monumental shot for a film that was made in like the 20th century and all that. So he would often have the camera like pan over, but if you look at some of the behind the scenes thing, it was actually a person holding the camera the whole time, but they have like a device where they're able to hold the camera steady, right? It's like wrapped around their waist, and they're able to hold the camera with their hands and all that and just slowly move while keeping the camera very stabilized. And that's the thing, a lot of film cameras usually have like an automatic stabilizer option, so that way like if there's even a slight bit of shake, it won't even be that noticeable. So
Right.
that's basically what I plan to do for this movie. And how I also plan to do it is that if I know for a fact that some of my folks are not going to be able to film some of their scenes on a particular day, and we're focused on one scene where like a certain group of the cast members have to film their stuff, is that I'm most likely gonna have them help out with cinematography. Or I could actually do, you see, what I actually might do is that if I'm taking part in a scene that I'm not a part of, then 9 times out of 10 I'm most likely gonna help out with cinematography and all that. And I also plan to have my cousin take part in it too. But also,
Huh.
yeah.
I have another thing that I wish that I hope we can do.
Lay it on.
Like, since I'm gonna be there during the winter, what if I just come up in like this full winter gear? I grab Reptile and put him to a wall, and I just pull out a folder marked Reptile 3 script, and I just hand it to you.
Love it, dude. Love it. If we
And-
somehow, some way, if we could somehow pull that idea off, dude, that would be the tits.
And I'm just
Oh shit. Will Big Cat make a comeback in the third film? Well, I don't know yet.
no,
Larry,
Oh,
No,
the only thing I can say to answer Andrew's question is that yes, Big Cat will have he's he's not gonna have like he's not gonna have as big of a role as he did in Reptile v Croja, but he is gonna take part in the movie, uh, just for the mostly for the humor. It's because Big Cat is a comedian.
Levon,
yes, just
And
for the humor.
Levon, in a perfect world, while I'm holding the reptile against the wall, you just come out of nowhere and you just grab me and push me out of the way.
Oh, that would be interesting. Oh shit! You know what would be good about Reptile 3? Just
What?
imagine if I finally came to Philly in physical form. That would be like that would be truly innovative for the first sequel. Like the first one is just one person playing some roles, and the second one is just two people playing multiple roles, but they never physically met. And then the third one will be a bunch of other people playing other, and then they all physically met, and then just finally doing some sort of real choreography.
In fact,
Yeah, yes, you can have your cat, sister.
yeah, in fact,
You're welcome, sister.
one of the things that I do want to do too is just like, you see, even though I have been feeling mentally low as of late, what I do plan to do is that what I do plan to do is that I want to I want to put myself at work where I'm working on all of my videos and all that stuff, try to get my mind off of stuff. Like, what I might do is that I'm gonna probably come on to Discord more often and chat with y'all while I'm working on stuff, just so that way I have someone to, chat with whenever I need something.
La-
Even if
La-
we're not talking most of the time.
Larry.
Yeah?
One day, when people are doing documentaries about these movies, you know what's gonna happen?
What?
I'm gonna be in the documentary, and I'm like, "It's been such an honor being part of the series." Wait a second, I wasn't in any of these movies.
Well, technically, you will. In fact, Levon knows this, but one of my friends from college, was who goes by the name Gaming Ninja on here,
Yeah.
because he was online a couple times, but yeah, he goes by the name Gaming Ninja. His real name is Joel. He actually did express interest in wanting to, help me write the film whenever I needed it. And I told him that for the most part, this movie is intended to be like a story mostly written by me and all that. But like if I do experience a writer's block, which inevitably might happen, then I won't have much. Then I won't have much of a choice. At least I do have people here who I can rely on. People like Levon and Joel to give me ideas if I write whenever I need some. Whenever I do have writer's
Right.
block, because
As
it's
opposed,
happened because it happened to me when I was writing Reptile v Croja. I had writer's block a couple times, but I was still able to finish the.
and
But I
now
was still
here's
able
the
to
thing
finish the
that
film in time.
and now here's the thing about Reptar v Croja that really it's so interesting about the production of Reptar versus Croja. It was like the sequel takes longer than the first movie, and here's the weird part about it.
Hmm.
The script was still written when the movie was filmed, and that's like one of the major flags out there for any movie that hopefully nothing ever happen ever again, because man, that experience was caused me to have a major that
That
like 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 to me, Vs. Crocho was like the longest 11 months that I ever had in my life, actually.
same here, dude. It was hell on earth trying to restructure the whole film, especially after everything that transpired and all that. Yet somehow, some way, uh, we still managed to make everything work out in the end. So the
your
fact that
friend,
everything still came out was great.
your your
Yeah.
friend Joel,
Yeah.
gaming, yeah, he's actually online right now. I can
Hmm?
tell because he's in the
Who?
he's one of the mods. I
Well,
mean, he's one of the,
actually, he isn't one of the mods. He's actually one of the members. Actually,
no, I see him online now.
yeah, I see him too.
So,
Uh,
but what I was gonna say is like during that interview, for some reason you guys invite me to the interview for the documentary, and I'm like, I drew the fucking comic. I wasn't in any of the goddamn movies. What do you keep?
maybe. I
But
don't
you
know.
still contributed to it. But I'm gonna say you still contributed to the universe of Reptile. So,
And I'm like, contribute my ass, and I just walk out.
and I'm just gonna sit there like, okay, I don't know what to say. I don't know where the fuck that came from.
And I'm like, also, I'm taking this pizza with me.
Already, right there, it sounds like making a whole mockumentary on the reptile films is already going to be like one of the funniest documentaries ever. Because when have you ever seen? I'm sure there were probably like a couple of documentaries where like there was a lot of comedy and stuff in it, but not so heavy on it like mine's might be. So yeah, that's basically the short update that I have to say about Reptile 3 is that the film is still in the works, but like I said, there's going to be a lot of crew members in it, and not only that, but there's going to be a major. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna throw this out there right here, right now. Not everyone is going to know about it, but there's going to be a major, and I do mean this. I have to put emphasis on this. A major retcon in this movie. And I mean a lot, because there's a lot of stuff in the story that I didn't like too much that I wanted to, rewrite. So what I plan to do is that I plan to basically restructure almost everything that happened in the three films. Now, the one thing is certain. One thing is certain is that the death of Ricky Caleb is still there, so that's not going anywhere. everything that happened to Reptile v. Croja is also there too. But as far as the backstories on the Violent Ducks, yes, the backstory of the Violent Ducks is actually going to be more in depth in this movie. So, yeah, I will say for all intents and purposes that this film will most likely be the longest because I think Reptile v. Croja was like it was like an hour and 40 minutes. I think this one is most likely going to hit over 2 hours more than likely because again, the reason how come is I think it's going to be that long is because I'm going to be showing the Violent Ducks' backstory in the film, which would require a lot of scenes to be written for that.
Be very interesting, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
What if the third Reptile movie is like 3 hours long, and it's actually with 3. That would be awesome.
Well, like I said, I don't know exactly how long it's going to be, but I do know for a fact that it's most likely going to exceed more than 2 hours. But if it does hit 3 hours, then that means that just gives me more time for me to throw in a lot of my stuff. But I want to make sure that it doesn't get to a point where I'm cramming way too much into this film because I'm one of those guys who values quality over quantity. Because it's like I can make a movie long, but that doesn't automatically mean it's going to be good. So it's like...
Larry.
Yeah?
Since Levon got to make, even since Levon got to appear in your movie.
You want a role?
I don't want a role, I just want a small, like...
Cameo?
Yeah.
All you had to do was ask.
You just...
Again, as far as the Levon character though in the movie, I don't know yet.
Like you know,
it's like the question. It's like the big freaking question mark in the film. Going to have a role, who's going to be cast, which characters is going to be in the third film. I don't know.
The only thing I could say is that this movie is essentially going to be like it's going to be like Endgame, Avengers Endgame. It's going to be like the biggest like movie of all the three of them.
Larry.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you what I think would be funny?
Lay it on me.
Like as the reptile is going on a rant and finally like confronting his problems and saying what he's gonna do. You just see it on my computer monitor as you just see me playing GameCube. And I'm like, sure you are.
In fact, on my Facebook, because like I said, I'm also live streaming this on Facebook too. One of my friends literally just asked me, "Can I get killed in the movie, or I'll be a killer?" I reacted with a laugh. And how do I pronounce her name? Natira? Yeah, she's basically the sister. She's basically a sister from a friend of my cousin, so that's how come I know who she is. So yeah, she asked if she could get killed or be a killer in the movie. Honestly, I don't know because like I said, the movie isn't even fully done yet. So like, if an idea comes up to me where like maybe I won't necessarily have you as a killer, but I could essentially have you be like a Violent Ducks member who is who could. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm sorry. Like the one thing is certain is that the whole Violent Ducks crew is going to be in this movie. Like originally, the Violent Ducks only showed like really only 3 main members. That was Ricky Caleb, Crodra, and Abraham Nealon. Those were the only 3 Violent Ducks members that all the Nutrivan fans have seen. In Reptile 3, the entire Violent Ducks crew is going to be shown in this movie. In fact, the original leader of the Violent Ducks, Jason Nealon, spoiler alert, is also going to be in the movie. Because again, since he ties in with the backstory of the Violent Ducks, he will appear in the movie. So,
Larry.
Yep.
Is the reptile a big fan of Godzilla?
Yes.
I just had a stupid idea.
Did you
for a
guys
cameo.
did you guys not remember the joke? Did you guys not remember the joke that Reptile made of Reptile v Crojo when he said that no wonder Godzilla was pissed off that Toho made Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
No, but can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Here's my stupid idea. Like, he's going to grab a game to play, and all of a sudden he can't find his copy of Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Uh-huh.
And then I just turn, and then it cuts to me, and I just turn, and I see a copy of Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee on my bed, and I'm like, uh-oh.
already, just from hearing that idea alone,
Holy shit.
it already sounds funny. Already.
Oh,
So it's like, and
that
it's
is a
beyond
good
me. It's beyond me how come I have not used Sean to help out with Reptile, because he has so much hilarious ideas. So it's crazy. All right, Andrew Andrew just asked what I think so far is the best question out of all the questions for Reptile 3. Who will play Molly in Reptile 3? For those who don't know, Molly is the autistic, younger foster sister of both Reptile and Crodra. She is the only family member who has never been seen in any of the films. Yes, while Crodra was mentioned in the first Reptile movie by Ricky Caleb, he appeared in the second movie. But Molly, on the other hand, has never appeared in any way, shape, or form. So, and I think it's Larry. Well, Andrew, I think it's Larry's sister. Not Larry's sister. Is Reptile's sister. I do have a sister in real life. But her name is definitely not Molly, and she sure as hell ain't autistic. And I mean, then again, there's nothing wrong with being autistic, but I'm just saying.
Now the big question for Molly is that does she smoke some weed?
Why?
Oh my God.
Why would you even? Wait a second. Why would you even ask if she smokes weed?
No, because her name's Molly, and Molly's in the weed.
So.
Oh my God, you guys are horrible.
Oh, Larry,
What?
like, so somehow, like, after the movie, you actually are able to visit me in Florida, and then he just opened my door, and I'm like, uh-oh.
I really do want to go. I actually do want to go down there sometime, because honestly, the only thing I hate about is like, I love Philadelphia, but the only thing I hate about living up here is that, aside from our usual flaws about the city, is that since we live close to the North Pole, because we're in the northeast part of the East Coast. We're in the north part of the East Coast. We are closer to the North Pole, which means that it gets pretty damn cold up here during
Larry,
this time. So,
Tenderman.
Larry.
I meant your sister. I meant your sister will be Molly, Larry. Whatever the hell you meant, because it sounds. Wait a second. Am I reading that right? I meant your sister will be Molly, Larry. Okay. I was hoping I read that right. Pardon me if I did read that wrong. So Molly will. Because I think everyone kind of already knows that Molly's gonna be in the third film, but she does not have a role just yet. She does. It's like, I already do have some potential cast members. Like I said, I do have a personal group chat on my phone, and I interact with them every now and then, just to explain to them what's gonna happen with the film and all that. And I did say that we'll be holding casting calls pretty soon. And in fact, speaking of casting calls, right? Speaking of casting calls, another thing that I also plan to do, right, is that if everybody remembers the animated project, Beast Within, right? That's still gonna happen. That's still gonna happen. In fact, it was originally supposed to be done as of right now, and episodes were supposed to be out right now. But again, my personal life, my struggles with depression is what's been holding me back. Huh?
You're doing an anime?
Not necessarily an anime, just a whole new animated project, but with a new art style that differs from Friends with Benefits.
Okay, I was about to say.
I haven't seen your New York.
Now I do have the character concepts though. So like, if any, so like I'm most likely gonna be throwing them out. I will most likely release them as somewhat of a teaser just to show everyone that the project is making some progress and all that. So, and that's another thing is that I do plan on taking just a small break from some of my usual YouTube videos just to work on those projects and all that, because trying to do all those videos at the same time and working on my projects like the Reptile 3 plus the animated show, the Beast Within, it's all a bunch of hard work. And if you guys are wondering where the Beast Within is going to be when it does come out, it will be released on the it's going to be released on the Nutravon channel. It's not going to be on Reptile because again, Reptile is a personal YouTube channel. So, and like I said, this is part of the Nutravon animated universe, which, for the record, has absolutely zero tie-ins with the live-action films. But it's like a separate anime. It's like a separate, not anime. Why the fuck do I keep saying anime? Maybe it's because I've been watching.
Animated.
It's because I'm probably watching too much anime or hentai or whatever. I don't fucking know. But
Wait, what?
basically, But basically, this animated universe is going to be a whole separate entity. So it's like, if there's going to be any other animated projects, whether if it's going to be created by me or Levon or whatnot, or any other animator who wants to take part in the Nutravon universe or whatever, I don't fucking care. They're gonna have to make sure that it ties in with the continuity of the animated universe. It's similar to how DC separates the animated movies and the live action movies. They do that, and it's the same scenario with Nutravon, and it's a great way of expanding Nutravon, especially since Nutravon is it's growing, it's starting to grow in popularity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's almost like it's like All Elite Wrestling. It's like AEW. It's something that's new, but it's growing really fast. And for those of you who are wrestling fans, if you guys haven't figured out already, yes, AEW almost has 1 million subscribers already, and they just had their promotion open up this year, and already they're almost at 1 million subscribers because, you know, people are watching their show on TNT, which, by the way, is awesome because I've seen every single episode since it first aired, and I even attended. And in fact, for those of you who watched, what was it, episode 3? If you guys watched episode 3, which took place in Philadelphia, I was in attendance that night, and it was really fun. But I digress. Basically, Nutravon is going to expand itself into a whole new, it's going to expand into a whole new set that you've never seen before. And the Beast
And-
Within is going to jumpstart that.
And who knows if my comic becomes well enough, maybe I can do a comic book adaptation of Beast Within.
I have a question about the Beast Within.
Mhm.
Is there a plot synopsis for?
Now, it currently it's in my Google Drive right now, but what I do plan to do is that I do plan to upload it to either, I don't know where to put it. I think I might put it on, I might either make a Wikia on the Beast Within, or I might put it on Twitter or something. I don't know, but if you do wish to know the synopsis right here, right now, I can explain it to everybody because
Sure.
it really isn't that long. It really isn't that long. So,
Oh,
as you can see, so originally I was originally going to leave it alone. I was originally gonna not say anything about it, but because, you know, people were obviously speculating about how the Beast Within is going to be about a person who turns into a werewolf and all that stuff, because, you know, the word beast is in it and all that stuff, and to some extent that is partially true. Like I would say, it's partially true, but it's not going to be it's not the main reason why I came up with the title. The
it's not the main
title
focus.
is actually more like there's a certain wordplay. I just can't remember the name of it. It's more, I wouldn't say personification, but it's more like a metaphor. Yeah, that's what it is. It's more like a metaphor, and I'm about to explain what that means. Just give me a second, because I'm having it boot up right now. Okay. So for those of you who do wish to know the synopsis of this upcoming project, here it is. Just only if If only if Word will actually work. And you know what? I'm actually really surprised at how well Streamlabs is actually running very well
Yeah.
on my laptop and all that. Well, that's because I'm using a GPU. I'm using the GPU to live stream this instead of a CPU and all that. So it makes my whole entire computer run faster because it's focused on, rendering from my graphics card. All the more reason why I'm glad to have a Lenovo. But again, I digress. So basically, the synopsis is this. All right. The Beast
Right.
Within is a show created by me about depression and haunting past events. The show centers around Tommy Matthew Willis, a 21-year-old business study student who suffers from depression and is somewhat obsessed with the murder of his friend. Throughout the show, he tries to cope with his depression by using cognitive behavioral therapy to develop new habits. However, due to his mental condition, he has a hidden animal inside of him. Tommy can become a furry beast. When he becomes the beast, he starts acting monstrous and destructive, as he has no control over his temper. The only time he turns into this beast is when he's either angry or stressed. The beast in Tom is the result of, and this is actually a creative terminology, by the way. So yes, there is a lot of creativity in here, but here it is. The beast in Tommy is the result of ethocyan. Ethocyan is a psychological condition that impacts victims who are diagnosed with severe depression in which an animal is born inside the person. In other words, they feed off of that psychological condition. It's almost like manifesting into that bad form. People with this condition, ethocyan as I'm talking about, yes, people with this condition are said to have an increase of the blood pressure, which impacts the emotional hormones of the victim. This causes the frontal lobe in the brain to generate a living embodiment of anger and sadness by creating an animal to live inside the human body. When unleashed, the beast has a cold, distant, and explosive personality. This condition cannot be eviscerated for good, but it can be suppressed. Doing behavioral therapy twice a week can help suppress ethocyan by having the victim vent their frustrations. Taking pills are said to exacerbate ethocyan, so it's not recommended. So that is
Right.
the synopsis of The Beast Within. The title derives from, the title mostly derives from, like I said, depression and all that stuff. So it's like based off of what I'm going through. Like, don't you know how we always talk about how our inner demons keep getting the better of us, and we want to hurt ourselves or commit suicide and whatnot? That's what the title is basically referring to. It's a metaphor on the word of depression. Like, when your demons get to you, they cause you to do some very horrendous things. And Tommy is able to turn into a beast that's basically a manifestation of his negative emotions. Like, any negative emotion that you could possibly think of, that beast is basically the manifestation of. It's almost similar to Dragon Ball Z Fusion Reborn, where Janemba is basically born off of the negative energy of the people of Earth, and he's the living embodiment of evil. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing here, but it's a psychological condition more than just a straight up random manifestation. And that's how the beast is able to form. It's because when people are diagnosed with this condition, usually they have severe depression when this happens. So it's almost like a very bad bundle, if that makes sense. If in the show, if you're diagnosed with severe depression, like if you have major depressive disorder like Tommy does, then ethocyan is going to be like somewhat of a side effect, like a bundle side effect to depression. So, and then this animal is born inside of you and is the living manifestation of all your negative emotions. And whenever somebody triggers those emotions, you turn into that beast. So that's the synopsis of The Beast Within. So I hope that at least answers your question as far as what the show is about. And I hope this does close up speculation too, because for a while people like Levon and all that stuff thought that it was just some guy turning into like a werewolf kind of character.
I
Which,
don't know.
like I
Like at
said,
the
is
time,
partially like I said, you're not entirely wrong. You're partially true, but like I said, it just goes deeper.
yes, it's a psychological concept that you're creating,
Mm-hmm.
and, and in terms of the show itself, and as a matter of fact, I do want to.
In fact, in
I do want
fact,
to.
ethocene is a made up word. It's not even real.
Yeah.
I literally made that up just to give some originality to the show.
You and Nephro scene. Sorry.
You asshole.
That was a very original. Um, I do want artwork no more think about this
Larry.
because
Yep.
what art style are you trying to capture in the show?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Levon?
Like what specific art style are you trying to like capture that you're creating? Like for instance, like something that's from a painting or
Oh,
like
you're talking about like just
Art
just the art style of the
yeah, the
show.
art style. Yeah.
So the show is still going. I still intend to use Crazy Talk Animator to animate the show, but the biggest difference you're going to notice about it is that the art style is very different compared to Friends with
Larry.
Benefits. It's very different, and
Larry.
I can easily show you guys the images and all that. And
Larry.
yes,
Remember, I did Flash. I took a Flash animation class, and I did an animated short. Remember?
oh yeah, that's right. You did.
Yeah.
Now, what I do plan to do real quick is that I don't know. Just give me a second. I'm not sure if this thing is going to allow me to screen share. I mean, this is Streamlabs, so I don't fucking know. So it might, but I just gotta check real fast, because in order for me to show the art style of the characters and all that and how the show's gonna look, that would require me to have to bring this out. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that real quick. Did I put it in the Nutravon folder? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I gotta remind myself to do that. So give me a sec. Just give me a second, guys. I just gotta find my stuff. Now I know I put them in a separate folder, didn't I?
Do you guys still have your Wikipedia, or did you guys get rid of it?
No, it's still there. I just have to. It's just that it has to be updated.
It needs to be heavily updated.
Can someone send me a link to it?
Hang on.
Yeah. Levon, could you take care of that for me?
Oh, let me see here.
If you that is if you can still find it, because I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to find my my cartoon characters, so I can't really do
Yeah.
much at the same time.
Yeah, it's under the old name, which now it's technically not a wiki fandom page now, because of course the company who owns Wikia decided to change the name to just fandom. I don't like that change. And
Yeah,
I don't like it.
for some reason, they did that. So I don't 100% know why they did that.
I don't know. It goes much deeper than that. I think it's something to do with fucking management or some shit. You have to look into it.
Yeah. So let me. So, I think I'm just waiting for my character. Oh, there we go. They're done. They're done. I just gotta I just gotta open them now. So. Sorry for the awkward silence, everybody. I'm just trying to get my shizzle to come up. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. Because, like I said, the art concepts for the characters are done. I had them done for a while. So let me. You guys are gonna experience some very awkward live editing, but keep in mind this is a live stream, so anything goes, really. So.
Yeah.
Right now, my stream. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, my Streamlabs was actually just changing for now. So you
Oh
guys are
shit.
obviously looking at a black screen right now. Don't mind that; it's
Yes.
temporary. And don't mind it; it's temporary. So
Oh, you guys got rid of the character
I'm
designs, I
seeing
guess.
it. The black screen right now, of course.
okay, here we go. Oh wait, what am I doing? This is.
West Philadelphia, born and raised, and the program is where he
Yeah, let
spent
me
most of
change
his life.
that. Let me change that real quick.
I see a
I'm trying to
pointer at
get
the
no.
moment.
I'm trying to get it to show my my entire monitor. So give me a sec.
Yeah. Oh my god, Dark.
What?
I don't even know what the art style looks like. I know it's made in Crazy Talk Animator. And
Wait,
does Crazy Talk Animator can have the ability to draw with a and I've been wondering.
Larry, where are your character designs? Larry,
Uh, he's
What
not
is it
there
showing?
right. Oh,
where are your character designs? Can I see them?
There we go. Does
sure.
I'm pretty sure everyone can like see my screen now.
Where are they?
Wait. Okay. I can see it.
No, where did you put them? Larry,
Okay. Oh,
where did you
Oh,
put your designs? I can't find them.
oh, what designs are you trying to look for?
The designs that you were sharing?
Oh, that's because it's on my OneDrive and I haven't shared them.
Okay.
hmm.
So
Huh.
Oh, nice.
That's interesting. So you're trying to put a realism sort of vibe to the characters or something.
It's an interesting design. Larry, I'm not gonna lie, he looks kind of possessed.
wow, that was the nicest thing I ever heard.
I'm joking, okay?
I know, I know.
Looks good.
So far, so far.
But yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, that's the main character right there, Tommy Willis. So he's the one who's going through a major hardship. Now, you guys might be wondering who is his friend that we were referring to. That's where he comes in. Aspen Waver. He's the deceased friend of he's the deceased friend of Tommy. He's somebody who had a brother-like relationship with him. Aspen was known to be a very wise person for someone at a young age. Like even though he was a very young person, he was pretty wise and he was often very he often helped Tommy through a lot of his hardships and all that stuff. But and he was like a positive influence to him. It's almost essentially like how Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, two former wrestlers who Chris Benoit would always open up to Eddie Guerrero whenever he went through something, and Eddie Guerrero would help him through it. But when Eddie Guerrero passed away, Chris Benoit felt like he had no other positive influence in his life. Like if something happened with his family and all that, and that's why a lot of people believe that it was because of Eddie Guerrero's death, which is why Chris Benoit snapped and killed his family. He killed his wife and his son and then himself, and now he's no longer to be mentioned on WWE television publicly because of what he did. So that's kind of similar. It's kind of similar, but Tommy doesn't like. It's not like he goes off to kill people. Like you know, actually, to be fair, I'm starting to notice this parallel right now. It's almost like Aspen Weaver is like the Eddie Guerrero of this show, and Tommy Willis is like the Chris Benoit. But because when he goes mad, I mean he literally goes mad. But one thing is certain though is that he doesn't kill people. That's the only difference. He doesn't kill people, but he
Wait,
does
who's the
snap.
other?
All right, so this character right here, Joshua B. Barlow, is the current best friend of Tommy Willis. Yeah, as you can see, he's a black
Right.
guy. So yeah, he is the current best friend of he's the current best friend of Tommy, and I plan to have him. I plan to have my cousin voice him, and there's a reason why I'm picking him out of everyone else, because he's been doing a lot of voice acting. He's been doing a lot of formal voice acting training. He's done 2 classes on voice acting. He's done a beginner one and he's done an advanced one, and he's getting so much better. If you guys remember the PIF video that we watched, you guys can see that my cousin's voice acting is very, very good. So I really want to put it to the ultimate test by seeing if he can actually voice a character. I don't care if he like changes up his voice or if he uses it naturally. I just need something that perfectly fits the character. So, and then you have Tommy's current girlfriend, Karina Sims. She's a very, very intelligent person who also who basically she'll. In fact, give me 1 second. I have a character description because like I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, I have a fucking character description of the profile of these characters. Some of which I still need to rewrite a little bit, but this is what I have so far. So.
Larry, is it
Yeah.
true?
What's true?
That the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so here we go. The first profile of the day, we're gonna discuss our good old friend Tommy Mother Friggin' Willis. Okay.
So, wait, is his dad's name Bruce?
Bruce Willis. You know what? I should name him that just to make it as a joke. But I should name his father Bruce Willis just to pay homage to the actor.
And his next door neighbor is at M. Night Shyamalan's.
And then
Good that's good
No, and-
shit.
Die Hard.
And for some reason, he always has 6 cents in his pocket.
Oh my god. The Sixth Sense. Good lord. So, here it is. The main protagonist.
Alert, he's dead the whole time.
Yeah, I know. Even though I never watched The Sixth Sense, I do know about the twist ending.
Ah, fuck. I'm sorry, Larry.
No, it's fine. I literally just said even though I've never watched the film before, I do know about the twist ending, which is really sad because then it's like now I watched the film and now it's just like now I don't.
That twist.
Now it's not even that much of a surprise. But
was a
sometimes
sad
spoilers make
twist
the movie
ending.
better.
So yes.
Now, here it is. Tommy Matthew Willis, the protagonist. Tommy Matthew Willis is a 21-year-old business student whose life is dominated, and by that, he means he's not very good, dominated by the murder of his friend Aspen Weaver. Aspen was stabbed in 2013, and the killer was never brought to justice. In fact, part of the show, Tommy does actually somewhat. He is somewhat vengeful. Like he does kind of want to find the person who did this and pretty much make him pay. I was originally going to name the show The Vengeful One, but I don't know if that would have been fitting, considering the fact that the show is mostly about depression and all that stuff. But The Vengeful One would actually be a very decent alternate title, given the fact that Tommy is going to be portrayed as somewhat of a vengeful person, given the fact that he wants to find the person who did this and make him pay for it. But anyway, he is a white guy who defines himself as straight. Okay, clearly, yes. He is currently at college studying business studies, and he is allergic to soy. Yeah, I know, pointless information, but I just wanted to throw that out there. He was born on January 6th of 1998. He grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. His mother left when he was only 1 year old, and leaving him with his father, who was a drunk. Initially, Tommy is cold and often pushes everyone away from him, and this stems from his fear of losing people he's close to. The way he comes off does turn off a lot of people from him. And again, that sounds just like me. I do push some people away, but it's because of what I go through and because I've lost so many people in my life. Then that's one of my biggest fears. So in a way, Tommy is basically mirrored off of who I am as a person in real life. Except I'd never had any of my friends get murdered, and I never had let that fuck my life up. So yeah. So despite his rough childhood, and over time, Tommy becomes a friendly, intelligent, and caring person. However, he can be very pessimistic about his life when thinking about his past, but he never lets his past define who he is as an adult. This is in part due to his depression. Tommy got
He's
his
a-
first job when he was 18 as a part-time admin assistant for a company named Blaney and Rochester, a company that runs a website that sells board games. Yeah, I know that's a little random, but come on. He's in charge of recording sales and dealing with customer service. He is currently in a relationship with Corina Annabelle Sims. Corina is 2 years older than him and works as a junior scientific researcher. Tommy's best friend is a business studies student who, yes, he's in the same class as him, called Joshua Bob Barlow. They have a very close friendship. He also hangs around with his coworker named Vienna Rhodes. They enjoy discussing their future ventures together. So that's the short character profile for Tommy Willis. So now here's where his best friend Joshua comes in. Okay. So, Joshua Bob Barlow, Tommy's best friend, a 20-year-old part-time local activist, and is the best friend of Tommy. Essentially, he's gonna be like the Ben Shapiro of this show. He's gonna be very blunt with a lot of things he says, but he tells everything like it is. So. Yes, that's right. I do support Ben Shapiro for those who don't know. So, yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and protest in the comments or say something stupid in the Facebook chat, go right ahead. I don't care. So, yeah, he is a black. So, Joshua is a black atheist who defines himself as straight. So, again, he's mirrored off of my cousin. He started studying philosophy, politics, and economics at college, but never finished the course and decided to continue with his activist job. Physically, Joshua is in good shape. He is tall with a dark skin. Wait a second. What the fuck did the blonde hair go? I do not remember writing that at all. He's supposed to have black hair. Oh, I'll edit that later. And black eyes. Josh, I don't even know where I got the blonde hair for because I don't know if you know this, but Joshua's hair is not blonde; it's black. So where did this come? So where did this shit come from? So anyway, Joshua was born on the same day as Tommy, albeit 1 year later, January 6, 1999. He grew up in a working class neighborhood. His father left when he was young, leaving him with his mother, who was an addict. So yes, both friends. Both Tommy and Joshua both didn't have the happiest childhood of all time, but there was some things that Joshua did that helped toughen him up as the person he is and why he does activism and all that stuff. So here we go. So this left him with his mother, who was an addict. She passed away when he was 18, and this was around the time when his mother finally decided to turn her life around and stop being an addict, but unfortunately she passed away because of all the effects the drugs did to her. So that was something that was left out, but I'm just throwing that out there as far as why she passed away. It was because, she had a failure in her heart, which was caused by all the drugs she took, and around the time when she passed away, she actually had just went sober and turned her life around, but it was too late. So, very sad. He would, however, get his first job as a part-time local activist for his neighborhood, having been motivated by his rough childhood similar to Tommy. The name of this activist group is called the Center Party. He is single. Yes, that's right. He is single. Enough said. Joshua can best be described as a kind, creative, human, and merciful soul who cares about his family and friends, including the people who live in his neighborhood. He can get very heated with people who are ignorant towards his beliefs, but he knows how to maintain his professionalism. Again, sounds similar to Ben Shapiro. Again, you people have to watch Ben Shapiro, just own people, dude, because the guy is awesome. Okay, next profile. Corina Annabelle Sims, the girlfriend of, Tommy. I almost forgot his name for a second. So, she is a 23-year-old junior scientific researcher who enjoys yoga, running, and camping. She is giving and caring, but can also be very boring and a bit grumpy. She is, I wouldn't necessarily say she is British for the most part. She's part British, but we can make that happen. Yeah, she is British and she has a degree in chemistry. She is also obsessed with reading. She grew up in a middle-class neighborhood after her mother died when she was young. She was raised by her father, who is a scholar, and yes, it seems like she's the only one with a happy with a happy childhood, despite the fact that her mother passed away when she was young. But at least she had a family member who wasn't an addict because her father was a scholar. Anyway, Karina had her first job at 18 as a lab assistant. She did the job for 4 years until she resigned and got her job as a junior scientific researcher for a company called Ring Road Research Lab. She currently is in a relationship with Tommy Matthew Willis, and they have been together since Tommy was 19. She also hangs around with her coworkers Kristen Ali and Rochelle McLaughlin. They enjoy drone photography together. Yes, there are some things that she does. Last, what the hell? Oh, that's my dog. I'm sorry. Yeah, last one, the deceased friend that pretty much I wouldn't blame him for Tommy's troubles, but after what happened with him, it's just crazy. So anyway, Aspen Weaver was the best friend. Was the best friend of Tommy. He was an avid gamer and a film enthusiast who wanted to become a filmmaker in his future. He was described as a very mature and polite human being with a calm judgment on humanity. He was born in 1998 to an upper-class family. Unlike most of the characters, Aspen was lucky to have two caring parents that raised and fed him every day. Aspen was a straight-A student in middle and parts of high school. Aspen and Tommy became friends in middle school, where they would spend a lot of time together doing things they loved, such as watching movies, playing video games, and making YouTube videos. Their friendship got to a point where they both considered each other brothers. While Aspen was at a 7-Eleven store getting groceries for his family, an unidentified robber armed with a knife held a cashier hostage for money. Aspen decided to take the law into his own hands and pursue the robber. Even though the cashier made it out alive, Aspen unfortunately did not. The robber violently stabbed Aspen 6 times, killing him instantly. Aspen was 15 years old at the time of his death. His body was recovered the next morning and made headlines in local news. This is when Tommy receives a call from Aspen's family informing him of his death. Tommy has never been the same after this. Tommy has been so grief-stricken by the incident that he developed depression on top of his rough childhood. Aspen was the only person Tommy felt he could pour his heart out to, and he lost him in the worst way. Tommy has been obsessed with the incident since then and still hopes to eventually find Aspen's killer.
Oh, so it's like, wow, so it's like Uncle Ben, but much younger and
Yep.
yeah.
It's pretty depressing. So, is there hang on a second, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, is there any comments about the character?
Well, actually, that's I gotta say there, the characters that you write so far is eye-catching. What about you, Dark Vice? Sean?
Where'd he go? He probably went to the bathroom.
I don't know where Sean's.
Or maybe his connection just went bad. I don't know.
Damn.
It sucks because I really wanted him to hear all that, or maybe he just didn't want spoilers. I don't know. We'll just worry about that later. So I'm at least glad that you like the profiles because because if I'm being completely honest right now, it was pretty hard trying to piece them all together.
Yeah, I can tell it was a lot of work you on the So how many episodes of the show would you plan on make?
It really depends. I do. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Gameopolis, for the subscribe. By the way, anyway, as far as the episodes go, that's tough. I think what I plan to do is that I plan to have like maybe 5 or 6 episodes per season, most likely, because like I said, I value quality over quantity. So it's like the episodes, like I said, some of the episodes are not even gonna be. It's not gonna be the same as it's not gonna be the same as TV shows, like TV show animated shows. Like how my mentality works is that my episodes are going to basically last as long as they need to. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
they're not going to last 11. I'm not going to force an episode to last 11 minutes because then it's just like I would have to come up with stuff that would have to last 11 minutes. I can instead just, freaking use I can just write the episode and let it go on for as long as I think it has to go on for. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Right. One Shot Studios has subscribed. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, man, this is interesting because so basically the episode that you're planning on to varies by length.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So it could be a 20, I mean, hell, it could be movie length to all we know.
Well, it only really depends though. It really depends. It's like one of my biggest dreams is being able to create like an animated feature length film because I've always been interested in wanting to do one since I became a fan of Disney films and Pixar and all that. In fact, a lot of people will actually know this about myself, and I'm going to publicly admit it. I am indeed a Disney fanboy. So I've been like this my entire life, but I'm going to throw that out there. I am a Disney fanboy. A lot of my inspiration for making films and all that stuff mostly comes from them. But one of my biggest in fact, although it's not like Disney are they are among my favorite films of all time, but most of them are not my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite movie of all time is actually, it's kind of contradictory because I just said the same thing. Yeah, my favorite film is actually Back to the Future. Here's why. The groundbreaking CGI, because first of all, around the time in 1985, a lot of movies did not use CGI like that, not in the way that it was used in the movie. This movie used CGI almost everywhere, like for the DeLorean and for the DeLorean and all that stuff. Like it was brilliant, and the amazing character development and storytelling, like seeing both the past and present of Hill Valley. It's just amazing just seeing the history of Hill Valley all crammed into one movie, and they were able to do it very well. And we also see how all these characters are in the relationships and all that. Like with George McFly, a very eccentric and low self-esteem character who's very very relatable, and you want to see him win and get Lorraine. But the problem, and that's the thing. I love the conflict in this movie. There's two conflicts. First of all, Marty has to get back to his own time, 1985, which adds a lot of suspense because you want to see him go back to his normal time. But now he's got to deal with even more trouble because he accidentally caused his own two parents to never meet with each other, and thus putting his own existence in jeopardy. So it's like you want to see him help his mother get with George, who is his father, to help preserve his existence. And at the same time, he has to get back to his time, but there's all these obstacles that are preventing him from doing so. So, with keeping all of that in mind, it just has like the best suspense that any movie could have. Not just that, but the soundtrack in this movie is very, very memorable.
It's the power of love.
Yes, exactly. The Power of Love, which is probably the most recognizable song in the whole movie. Then you also have the famous Back to the Future theme. Then, and I think, and don't forget, there was also Mr. Sandman in there. I wasn't sure if that was the original 50s version of Mr. Sandman or if that was just like a remade version of it that was made at the time to better suit the 1950s feel in the movie. But, Mr. Sandman was in the movie. So there you go. It's a very famous song from the 50s, which easily fit the time period that they were going for in that film. So, that combined with the amazing character development, amazing CGI effects, amazing storyline, amazing characters to relate to, and all that, is why I wanted to start doing film, because I thought it was so creative.
I thought they used practical than CGI.
they did use some practical, but they did use some practical effects, but most of it, almost the majority of the effects they used in it was CGI, especially in Back to the Future 2, where it's a lot more noticeable. Like when they traveled to 2015, like that was when it was much more noticeable that they were using CGI for the film. So,
So it's okay. I might have experiment with the effects then.
yeah, like I said, they did use some practical effects and all that, but like with the effects coming from the DeLorean and all that stuff, like when the DeLorean is going like into the when it's flying and about to travel into the future, yes, it was part of it was CGI because obviously they had to animate the DeLorean to fly and all that, which I thought was really cool. Uh, but yeah, that's why it's my favorite because it's like the film is so creative because it's so creative. Like you gotta admire the creativity that Robert Zemeckis and a lot of his other crew members. Like I think Steven Spielberg was also part of the production. I think, but you gotta admire their creativity because they are among the most creative filmmakers ever, and that's the biggest reason why the film is my favorite out of all the films I've ever watched. That Back to the Future was the first one. I'm talking about the first one, by the way. Yeah, I do love the trilogy, but if I had to say what my favorite one was, it would be the first one without an argument. But like that's why I say that that's my favorite because of all the creativity that went into it. Now I know what you might be asking me, but there were other films that came out long before Back to the Future that were also very groundbreaking for its time. Any comments on that? Well, if I did have to say if I had to answer what film would tie with Back to the Future with my favorite film of all time, very very likely it would have to probably be King Kong from 1933. And that one's self-explanatory, but that one's probably self-explanatory, but let me give you an exact reason why. The Beauty and Beast love story with King Kong and the woman Anne, right? And you also have the groundbreaking effects, like the stop motion animation that was done by Willis O'Brien, who was very famous for it at the time. Then you also have the orchestrated soundtrack. Now keep in mind that this film came out during a time when sound films were still in its infancy. The fact that they were able to have an actual soundtrack at the time was absolutely amazing. All of these groundbreaking achievements and all the compositing video effects where they had to project certain actors into the background while the characters were being animated around them just to create an illusion that the creatures are like grabbing the characters in the movie is an amazing film technique for 1933. Because like I said, it's way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. A lot of schools will definitely tell you that Citizen Kane is the greatest movie of all time, which is up for debate too. And yes, it did have a lot of groundbreaking achievements in it, such as the cinematography and all that. But you gotta also look at Kong, which came out damn near a decade before Citizen Kane even existed. So that raises up a question. So at this point, saying which movie is the best of all time is only a matter of opinion. It's not even a fact to say what movie is the best of all time because to say that something is the best of all time is not even a fact. It's only a matter of opinion. It's what people think. Like you'll have often people say, "Oh my god, this movie was the greatest" and all that stuff, and then you'll have other people say, "Oh, it's the worst" and all that stuff. So it's not even a fact that most of these movies are either the best or whatnot. It's only a matter of opinion. But the one thing that is certain is that you can't deny how much of an effect that these movies had on the industry because of the techniques they used.
Yeah, innovation is definitely the key itself. I have a
Andrew
confession to make.
Andrew says that his favorite film from Steven Spielberg is E.T., which is, well, one of his favorites actually, which is a great choice because E.T. is an all-time family classic, and I'm going to publicly admit it, I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid.
I have a confession to make in terms of my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Remember that Citizen Kane thing about the thing you mentioned?
Yeah, is Citizen Kane your favorite film?
Yes, it's not just my favorite film itself. It's actually the best in my entire life.
Which is perfectly understandable because again, everything that Citizen Kane has done, again, it's understandable why people would say, Citizen Kane is the best movie of all time. But again,
And
it's
you
like a
know
debate.
something, Larry.
Yeah.
I if the frickin' studio system decided to like, oh, we're gonna remake Citizen Kane out there, a lot of people will be angry. A lot, like I can see a lot of people complaining about the possibility of a like remaking itself and all that stuff. And I also heard that I'm not even making this up, Larry. I also that the Hollywood studio system is considering to remake another good film, which is an all-time greatest, Bride. That film should not be remade.
I actually,
Period.
I agree with that. I actually do agree with that. There's some movies that should be remade, while others should just stay in its original format because it's like, I mean, to be fair, it's not like all remakes are bad. There are remakes that do actually do very well and even somewhat match the charm of the original, but most of them really just can't do it because they I feel like they do have that nostalgic star power, but what they don't have is the charm, meaning it doesn't feel like how like it doesn't have the same energy that the original films had. Like for example, Lion King. Even though I haven't seen the remake, but I do know the remake has been praised, but not to the extent where the original Lion King movie was. Mostly because the original obviously is always going to be the definitive experience for the
It's
Lion King.
Can I tell you
yeah,
something? Can I tell you something about the Lion King?
because
Yes.
yeah,
The thing is, the Lion King, because it was a cartoon, it was able to show more expression with its character.
I, I'm sorry to say this, but I refuse to see that soulless cash grab of a remake because I don't even. Okay, first of all, I don't even know why it made like $1 billion, and secondly, the cartoon is the best one and stuff.
It's always going to be the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it is a how saying it's CGI anyways, should that be qualified as an animated film too?
But keep
Or
in
something?
mind, a lot of the expression that you got from the original animated film,
Right.
because they're going for a more realistic look, they can't pull off those same
They,
expressions.
they couldn't. They
It
didn't.
was so it was so hard for them to do it, especially since they were animating like, you know, lions that looked basically real. But the thing is that the music and the vocal performances and all that were still very much praised, but they didn't really like the facial emotions, which is understandable why people would be disappointed at that. But literally just like saying that it ruins the entire film entirely isn't really necessarily my biggest gripe with the movie, as more so that it just doesn't match the charm of the original. But whatever, people have their thoughts. But
Mhm.
gotta give some credit to Happy Hogan though. So you know why I said Happy Hogan, right?
Wow,
Because John Favreau was the director of the Lion King remake.
nice.
I mean, his artworks are good.
And plus, you have to remember the music in the film, of course, is gonna be praised. You want to know why? Because it's Hans Zimmer. Come on, Hans Zimmer is like one of the most talented film scores of all time. And not to mention, he also composed the soundtrack for the original film in 1994 too. So it wasn't like he was the only. Plus, he wasn't the only original cast member to return to do this remake, because
Speaking,
James Earl Jones was in it too. I'm at least
speaking,
glad they didn't replace James Earl Jones, because the truth is you can't. There's nobody else who can play Mufasa better than James Earl Jones.
Speaking
Period.
of speaking of Disney remakes, I heard that Aladdin was actually really good.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Some people probably didn't even like the fact that Will Smith was was the genie, but I don't think that. But I honestly think that that was honestly not the case, because if anything, Will
Apparently, Will
Smith.
Smith did really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I literally had some people like tell me, "Oh my God, Will Smith was horrible," but I'm just like, no, it's like Will Smith actually was he was actually pretty good. I don't. It's like I don't know what y'all talking about. It's like I don't know what you're talking about, but he
He's a
was actually
talented,
pretty good.
he's a talented, funny actor.
Though the
He wasn't
action
better
just
than Robin. He wasn't better than Robin Williams, but he's definitely
Obviously
better than Will
not,
Smith.
but
right. Though the
But he
live
was able to
action
pay homage. Go ahead, Levon. I'm sorry.
though the live action Jafar will never ever beat the animated version because of course his voice isn't that menacing as I'm hearing. Instead he has this stupid voice that goes, "You must you I'm Jafar and this and stuff." It's like where's the menacing voice? It's
I
not
know it could be
there.
a problem, but you know, remakes tend to have their own style, so. They did say apparently they are
Go ahead.
actually I did hear that there might be a possible sequel for the
What?
live action Aladdin films, but nothing's been confirmed. So
I'm eating dinner as we talk.
Oh, okay, let me see.
So Larry, have you got any new games recently?
Have I gotten any
New games?
Oh shit, that reminds me. I did, and I never put them up on my VG Collect. What was the games that I got? The games I bought was, what was it? I got Crash Nitro Kart on PS2. I have what else? Oh yeah, Tekken 5. Yes, I actually bought another copy of it.
Nice.
And I also have. I'm sorry, I'm just busy looking right now. X-Men. Yeah, X-Men Next Dimension. Did I put X-Men Next Dimension on my VG Collect? I don't think I did. I need to add them on there because I forgot to do it a long time ago when I bought them.
I got a few new games to my VG Collect as well. I just ordered a copy of the original House of the Dead for the Saturn.
Oh yeah, around Christmas time, I'm actually gonna be ordering not only more Saturn games, but in the near future, I also plan on buying an HDMI cable for the Sega Saturn too.
Nice.
We're buying like an HDMI.
Yeah, they're only
Saturn
$30 on Amazon. So.
I'm sorry. I was just coming back to get some food. Oh, I pretty much missed half of the conversation.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Sooner or later, I'm about to. I gotta go. In fact, I might. What I'm gonna do is that since I've said everything I wanted to say in this live stream, in this podcast, which I might actually do another Real Talk podcast sooner or later, where I can have you guys joining me because people do like it when people join.
Right.
Have multiple people. So yeah, I'm gonna end this since I already said everything. Now you guys can obviously stay in the Discord chat, but I'm just saying I'm just turning the live stream off. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm not leaving the chat. So.
Okay.
The only thing I do need to do is just get food. But I hope everybody loved this live stream and all that, because this is another first in history. Is that this is the first ever time I was able to live simulcast on both YouTube and Facebook at the same time. It's amazing that I was able to do this. So
you also got to have the awesome Levon and the knucklehead Sean on here.
So, hopefully you guys do enjoy this. Now, I will hopefully. The only reason how come there was no special intro or anything like that for this podcast is because I really haven't developed the style yet. But it's gonna happen It's gonna happen pretty soon. I might even have it be posted on Spotify as well. And I just hope that freaking Spotify doesn't reject it just for not having my fucking name in it, because that's what happened to my recent album too. And it was supposed to be released on Halloween night, but it never came out, and I found out why, because they rejected my art, and I'm like, are you serious? So now the release got delayed, and this fucking crazy. It doesn't help the fact that I also have an album that's coming out around Christmas, because I'm currently collaborating with a metal artist who's doing all the guitar sounds for me. The only thing I'm doing right now is just writing lyrics. That's really all I'm doing. So.
Oh
So
my
I'm
god,
not-
you're having another studio album, Larry? Wait, is this gonna be another studio album?
Yeah, basically it is. It's gonna be the first because I released so many, largely because a lot of them. First of all, the reason why Vertigo and Eye of the Storm all came out at the same time instead of like usually albums usually take like a long time to be out, but the reason how come they all came out so quick is because I was working on both of them around the same time. But as far as the Black Christmas album goes, yes, that's the name of the one I plan to release in December. That one, I'm not doing the notes for that one. Somebody else is doing the guitar sounds for me, but I'm just only providing vocals and all that. So that's really all it is. If it doesn't come out in fact, what I might do is that I might hold off on that, and I might no, I'm probably gonna release. I'm probably gonna release it on friggin'. I'm probably gonna release it on around Christmas time anyway, because that's the name of the album, Black Christmas. So I kind of wanted to. Obviously, you can tell by the name, it pays homage to the horror film. Uh, so
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what I plan to do. That's what I plan to do, and that's why they're all coming out so fast, because I actually have additional help and all that stuff. But right after that, I'm gonna have a little break from the music for a little bit, because usually it takes me a long time before I come up with another idea for an album anyway. So, with that being said, I'm going to get lost. I will be back with you at the end of the live stream eventually. Wait a second. I will answer Andrew's last question before I cut it off. Larry, what is your opinion on Xbox? It really depends on which Xbox you're referring to, but if you're talking about the Xbox brand combined, really, I don't mind Xbox. I really don't, because to
I
be
still
fair,
think Sega should be in the limelight and not Microsoft. But okay.
I know, I think so too. But but again, the Xbox brand, I don't mind it at all, because they're doing their own thing. Now, I'm gonna publicly admit this. I am somewhat of a Sony fanboy, because a lot of my systems that I have hooked up right now is PlayStation consoles. Like, I have my PS1 out, my PS2 is sitting in another part of the room hooked up to another TV, and my PS3 and PS4 are sitting on top of each other, both hooked up to my flat screen hanging on my wall. So yeah, I'm somewhat of a fanboy of the Sony brand, but I still don't mind Xbox. If I were to buy an Xbox One right here, right now, I would do it, because honestly, I mean, to be fair though, it would be kind of pointless, because really, Xbox really doesn't feel like a legitimate alternative to the PlayStation. The only alternative thing about it is its console exclusives, but other than that, in terms of functionality, it's basically the same.
Now, as to finally end the stream, podcast, I want to say one last thing.
Mhm.
We all know that the Sega Saturn's better than the PlayStation.
Oh
Good
my
night,
fucking
everyone.
God, come on!
Well, the Sega Saturn is much more powerful on a technicality standard, actually.
Yes, I know. You don't need to friggin' brag about it. No, I'm just going to abruptly end the stream. Okay, just good night, everybody.
Sega Saturn's great.
Fuck you.